In this case, we have a former couple, Mr. Benson and his ex-fiancée, tangled in a web of disputes following their breakup. Let's break down what's happening. The first issue is about engagement rings. The defendant has already stated in her court papers that the engagement is over and he can have the rings back. So the judge simply instructs her to return them to Mr. Benson. That part seems easy enough, a clean resolution. But then, we move on to the money. Mr. Benson claims his ex owes him for credit card bills. He explains he let her use his Capital One MasterCard. Now, this wasn't a case of her having a separate card on his account. He physically gave her his one and only card. He says she used it to make purchases back in March of 2015 when she went to visit her sister in Stockton. The judge, however, seems impatient with this line of argument and quickly cuts it off, saying, "Forget it. What's next?" It seems the evidence or the way it is being presented is unconvincing enough to hold her attention. This is where the story takes a much more serious and emotional turn. Mr. Benson pulls out court papers, and his voice strains as he tells the judge he hasn't seen his son since September 25th. He's desperate for help. The judge, however, has to be very clear about the limits of her power in this particular courtroom. She explains that she cannot help him with visitation orders. She simply doesn't have the jurisdiction. Mr. Benson explains his struggle. He filed for visitation, but he can't get his ex-fiancée served with the papers. He says she's been ducking him, that she no longer works at her last known job, and he can't find her. He's at a dead end. The judge turns to the defendant and confirms they have a son together, who's just 10 months old. The breakup happened in August. The judge then starts to build a logical case. She asks the defendant if she worked while they were together. The defendant confirms she did, but only on Saturdays. And who took care of the baby while she was at work? Mr. Benson did. This is the pivotal point. The judge delivers a powerful lecture, not as a legal ruling, but as a dose of hard reality based on her extensive experience in family court. She tells the defendant that eventually Mr. Benson is going to get visitation with his son. A family court judge will order it. She trusted him completely. The judge drives the point home. It's going to be a very difficult, uphill battle for her to now claim that the father is somehow dangerous or unfit, just because their relationship is over. The judge states that whether their breakup was nasty or amicable is completely irrelevant. They made a child together. And that child has a right to have both parents in his life. It is fundamentally wrong for one parent to deprive the child of the other. The choice to have a child with him was hers, and now she must deal with the consequences of that choice in a mature way. The judge then gives Mr. Benson some practical, albeit tough, advice. She tells him what he needs to do is get his ex served with the court papers. This is the only way to move his visitation case forward. Mr. Benson tries to interject, still emotional, saying he hasn't seen his son since August 25th, and that accusations were made against him. But the judge stops both of them, frustrated that they aren't listening. All she can do is share her wisdom from a quarter of a century in family court. She assures him that any experienced judge will tell his ex the exact same thing, that you cannot be manipulative with a child the two of you created together. With the custody issue addressed as much as possible, the court moves on to the remaining property disputes. First up is a tablet. Mr. Benson claims she stole his LG tablet when she came to collect her belongings. The judge asks the defendant flatly, "Is that his tablet?" She admits it is. What property of hers does she claim is still at his house? She says she wants her dining room table and some mirrors that were on the wall. The judge asks Mr. Benson if he has her dining room table, and he confirms he does. Great, the judge says, moving to finalize the details. She gives the defendant a clear deadline. She has 5 days to make arrangements to pick up her dining room table. The judge specifies that she must bring an escort with her. The defendant voices a concern, saying she doesn't want Mr. Benson to be home when she goes. But the judge corrects her. Mr. Benson absolutely needs to be present. She has to be there to identify her property so the exchange is done correctly and finally. With both parties understanding the plan, the judge declares the matter settled, and with that, the case is concluded. Thanks for watching.